Me llama siempre. 4 hojas. 4 hojas, tío. Me da suerte. Hola, mi amor.
Hola, bebé.
¿Qué tal, mi amor? Estabas a tope, ¿eh?
Hombre, con esta mitad no
Ya, pero flipa, tienes el abdomen, madre mía.
me ha dicho que hago la técnica en plan.
Súper.
Pues sí.
Mi amor de locos. Es la mejor. Pues nada, mi amor, que te amo. Te voy contando, ¿vale? Hace un frío hoy. Hace un frío.
En Andorra.
Y voy de corto para lucir piernas. Pero hace un frío que flipas.
Lo que vas a lucir es pulmonía.
Es pulmonía, así es. Pues nada, mi amor, que te amo, ¿vale?
Te quiero.
Que vaya muy bien, te quiero.
Que
Chao,
vaya
chao.
súper.
Chavito.
¿Te acuerdas subiendo en Incam? Sí, en la Purito. ¿Cómo miraba? Íbamos tiesos ahí, mala cara.
The winter was for sure great. The feeling after winning the championship was amazing.
Jorge Martin is the 2024 MotoGP World Champion. A lifelong dream comes true.
And he becomes the first world champion in over 2 decades to take the title and leave manufacturers.
Highly unusual situation to see a world champion leave one manufacturer and then switch to a different manufacturer. He was so determined to get that Ducati factory seat. And then, of course, Ducati went in a different direction with Marc Marquez. So he went to Aprilia with a lot of motivation, a lot of determination to show Ducati, you got this wrong. You made the wrong decision, guys, and I'm going to show you who's the boss.
The satisfaction of signing a world champion at the time was great. Having a world champion in the company is also a big responsibility.
Questo era per dire a Jorge e a Marco che io sono sicuro che sarà una storia della Madonna, per cui buttiamoci tutta l'energia che abbiamo, perché secondo me con voi ne abbiamo da vendere.
Being finally a factory rider is a big dream for me. So I think I'm in the right place. I feel already like if I'm part of the family.
He was so excited. He was super confident. He was enjoying a lot, and he wanted to get back to the motorbike like so fast. He had like all this positive energy and everything.
Sepang's always a special part of the season, the first test, everybody's excited. There was a whole host of expectation. Everybody was looking forward to seeing Jorge Martin on the #1. He only did 77 laps at the test in Barcelona in November, so he was going to be really, really keen, eager to get lots and lots of laps under his belt on the Aprilia.
Primer día de coles.
I'm really looking forward to jump on that Aprilia. We have a lot of work to do during this test, so I'm really prepared for that.
Sort of a new era starting. And unfortunately, it didn't start as we expected.
'25 and the start of the defence of his World Championship could not have got off to a worse start for Jorge. It was a nightmare.
Going from the best or the happiest moment of my life, and then starting this nightmare.
I just took the phone and Jorge called me in that moment. He was in the hospital already and I could talk to him. He started crying and then I started crying and just drama.
He has the huge high side in 13 laps. A disastrous start for Jorge, and already it feels like he's on the back foot before we've even started racing.
Obviously, this is a problem. Tomorrow, he will be out of the hospital. The day after, he fly to Europe and get to the surgery. And foot, we are, let's say, confident to have him for race 1.
He spent like 2 weeks full-time recovering. So he spent all his energy in order to be back as soon as possible. And the day before getting the plane, he went to train and, I mean, he fell.
I don't remember really good the crash, but in the moment I was crashing, my mind was already, no way, no way, no way, like, this is not happening. I remember going to the hospital, moving the hand with 3 broken bones, like, no, it's not that much. I can make it to Thailand. And then realizing that there was a really bad injury. I think the worst moment was telling Rivola that I crashed, because we are really in contact with each other every day.
I spoke to him about lunchtime. He was saying, okay, everything is all right. And I said, okay, Jorge, I think it's fine. No, but I do like the last couple of rounds.
I was texting him, sending him some photos of my training, of my lap times. And then it was like 2 hours between the last message.
He called me. And I said, I had a bad feeling when I saw that call, and I said, don't tell me you crashed.
Massimo, bad news, I crashed.
Are you okay? No, it was quite a bad one.
It was very, very hard. And psychologically, I think it was even harder because, I mean, not doing the preseason is hard, but not starting the season, it's even harder.
2 or 3 days after, I started to realize that no way to go to Argentina, no way to go to Austin.
We knew that was going to rule Jorge out for the first 3 rounds of the championship. And already you're thinking, we haven't even started the season, and the world champion has no chance of defending the title. It was a disaster.
It was really difficult to accept, but in the moment that I accept that, I was just focused on recovering.
Yo aquí no está soldado aún, ¿sabes?
Me le faltaba un pelín aquí.
Aquí, ¿no?
Un pelín. Justo donde justo era aquí, ¿no te acuerdas el hueco ese que había?
Sí.
Ahí.
Aquí tengo el tornillo.
Este está mejor. No subimos más, ¿no?
No.
Sobre todo por la costilla.
No,
tío.
que no es por la fuerza, es porque las tiras aquí, ¿sabes? Si te tirará de aquí te dolerá. Sí.
Pero todo lo que sea reforzar el core, aunque me duela un poco, yo creo que...
Sí, a nivel interno.
Que me hace... Exacto, me sujeta más las costillas. Cansa menos la moto que esto.
Vamos. Un minuto, has tardado.
Podría, ¿eh? ¿Un minuto?
No, coño.
Ajá. Récord. Vamos a hacer un puertito aquí, Ordinar Calís, y que tengo unas series, tío. Y luego un café con Aleix que nos está esperando a las... ¿Qué hora es? De 1 horita y media.
Vamos.
Así que nada, al lío que vamos tarde. Vamos. Pero tiene el nivel. Pero tiene algo de nivel.
¿Cómo estáis?
A mesa puesta, ¿eh?
¿Eh?
Llegas a mesa puesta ya, ¿eh?
Hombre.
Como venías pájara, te hemos pedido ya.
¿Ya habéis comido o estáis a dieta?
No, ahora bien, ahora bien. ¿Qué dices, Brody?
¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien, mejor. A ver, tío, estoy currando mucho. Probaré en Qatar, parece todo indica, así que no por ello, tío. Ahora luego llamaré a Rivola para decírselo, que aún no lo sabe. Ciao Massimo, guarda che eleganza che hai. Come stai? Tutto a posto? Senti, mi hanno detto, sono andato al medico
sembra che mi ha dato l'ok per andare a Qatar. Allora andiamo tutti. Dai, bello, bella notizia. Bella notizia. Dai, vediamo, sarà sicuramente un weekend difficile, però almeno iniziamo il proyecto.
No, tendré que hacer un buen ventaja en Qatar, ¿sabes? Para que me agarre bien la mano.
Ir tranquilo. Sí, claro.
Tranquilo, te quedas fuera.
Ya.
Te doblan, tranquilo.
Arrancamos. Good to ride. Let's try tomorrow. Thank you. Gracias, de vuelta ya. ¿Cómo estáis?
¿A tope o no? No, a tope no, tío. ¿Qué tal? Pues, tío... Lo bueno que es la izquierda, pero...
It's been a difficult 2 months. I've been working a lot to be here today. I don't know what to expect exactly. I will try to do my best. I don't feel 100% still, so I think the important thing is to start making some laps. I feel I have good strength, but still pain. I will take it session by session, day by day. I don't know if I will be able even to finish the weekend, so for me, just to do that will be a big success.
Jorge Martin, his first competitive race action. Jorge Martin. Now this was not in the script, was it at all? On his return, 4 months off a MotoGP bike, and he has just passed his big nemesis over the last 2 or 3 years. He does get to see the checker flag, which is going to feel like a victory already, isn't it, for Jorge Martin? Just getting to the checker flag will be a great pain relief for the reigning world champion.
Cansado, tío, cansado. Que no puedo hacer nada ahora. El hombro, todo, tío.
Tío, no me vayas a la serie.
¿Qué te dice por ahí, Pedro?
¿Que dónde ibas a hacer? Tío, ¿qué fache, Billy? ¿Estás tranquilo? ¿Eres tranquilo?
Divertido.
Ah, ok. Aquí yo.
Estoy muerto, tío. No va a ser duro,
Bueno, sí, muy puedes acabar, porque no puedes dar aire.
I think it will be really tough to finish tomorrow. I think I need to find my own pace. Even if I'm on a race, my fight is not with these people. My fight is just with myself, and try to get constance and consistency. And try to make it till the end, but it will be tough.
This is going to be probably the longest 22 laps of Jorge Martin's Grand Prix career. Even himself last night, Martin A2 was saying, I think there's a few lingering doubts about whether the pain threshold is high enough to resist the pain and the discomfort. It's lights, camera, action here in Qatar. Martin is fighting a real rearguard action here, and his pain threshold is being tested to its absolute max right now. Martin is currently in 17th place. Oh, it's Martin. This is not a sight we wanted to see at all. It's a painful return to Grand Prix action for the world champion. This is a real tough one. This will be a fast crash.
I knew something was just not going right. I was so scared.
That crash is one that keeps riders awake at night. That's what haunts riders. It's the one crash that they fear the most. You crash and then you get hit by a rider directly behind you. That's about as tough as it gets. You know, and Jorge came out of that, collapsed lung, 11 broken ribs.
In che parte? Team, sei andato in ospedale perché sei fatto. costale e poi una cosa premotoracica nel polso.
I saw his dad walking to the medical center. You could clearly see they were upset, very concerned.
I got into the room and I suddenly saw Jorge, he saw me and he started crying so much. And he was like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I love you, I love you, I love you. And then I just started crying so much. And he was suffering so much, he was crying so much, he was so scared. He always tells me that when I came into the room to see him for the first time, he was sure he was gonna die.
Imagine what he was thinking and passing through the weeks when he was alone with his father and his girlfriend in an hospital far away from home.
I'm sure there was times when he was lying in that hospital bed in Doha where he was just thinking, do you know what, is it worth it? How much more can my body take? How much more can I take mentally? You know, that was horrendous.
He was broken. He was like sometimes doubting, am I gonna be able to run again?
Jorge had a lot of time just with his own thoughts. While he was in that process, while he was spending so much time thinking and trying to process and digest what had happened, clearly he started to think, this Aprilia deal is not for me.
I start to have a lot of doubts on not only on my future, but also myself, on a lot of different things.
It was a strange period because Jorge obviously wasn't in the paddock racing, he wasn't in the paddock competing, but he was still creating lots and lots of headlines. This was a bombshell, you know, for a world champion to threaten to break a contract when he had done barely any racing. Yeah, this was massive. Everybody in the paddock was kind of like, whoa, did not see that coming.
Albert Valera, his manager, came to me and said, you know what, we think we could leave, and Honda is quite interested in him. The offer is really good. And I said, you joking? The day after, I went to Madrid because I wanted to see him, to check it with him. Is it true what Albert just said? And he said, I think it's better for me to leave. And I said, I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna let you go.
As soon as the story broke, we went to Silverstone straight afterwards.
This was all blowing up. It was so much off-track distraction for Aprilia. Clearly in Jorge's mind, there were doubts about whether the Aprilia was going to be competitive enough. There were doubts about whether it was going to be the motorcycle that would fulfill his ambitions to win more races, more titles. But bizarrely, while he was having all of these doubts, we were in Silverstone and Marco Bezzecchi puts the Aprilia on the top step of the podium.
Simply of the best, Marco Bezzecchi wins an incredible, dramatic British Grand Prix 2025. His first win for the factory Aprilia team.
Complimenti, ci voleva, lo so. Attenzione che questo è tutto. Attenzione.
Spero che siano che hanno capito che ce la possiamo fare anche noi.
Dai, complimenti.
It was the perfect timing for Aprilia to say to Jorge, look, our motorcycle is competitive. It can win races. And you've got to imagine what was going through Jorge's mind, sat at home in Andorra, recovering from another injury, trying to leave a manufacturer that was now winning races in MotoGP. It was a very, very weird and strange situation.
Esta victoria es realmente muy importante para vosotros.
Muy importante, muy feliz y espero que es un mensaje para Jorge que tenemos una moto que puede ganar con él también.
You could feel when chatting to Massimo Rivola afterwards that it was a huge weight off his shoulders. It was a direct message to Jorge saying that this bike is capable of winning. We can fight for a world championship together. We just need you to come back on side and trust in what we're doing.
I had to make a decision on my future, and that decision was either try the Aprilia a few more races, or then activate this clause that we all know about it.
Seems like it was a performance-related clause that he clearly felt in his mind, in his manager's mind, that he could walk away from the contract at the end of the season.
So both of them, Aprilia denied it. That I respect, I understand. They fight for their rights, let's say.
I was also tough on him in saying you don't leave. Because I think more than you now, what is better for you.
As the weeks moved on, Jorge's position was becoming weaker. You know, Aprilia were not going to let him go. They were happy to go to court. So we arrived to Renault just before the summer break, where we finally welcomed back the world champion. He looked fully fit, he looked in a good place mentally and physically, and on Thursday, he and Aprilia called for an exceptional press conference.
It's the story that has dominated MotoGP headlines around the world. Will he stay? Will he go? We don't have too much longer to wait, because the number one is finally back here at Brno, and he's going to answer the question we've all been wanting to hear the answer to. Will he stay? Will he go? It's time to hear from the man himself, Jorge Martin.
Yo puedo explicar que un poco, ¿no? Que yo estaba muy enamorado, luego con la lesión y tal he tenido más dudas.
Mostrare a volte un po' di dubbi o di incertezze. Non è...
Tú con tu situación en el hospital, tus dudas, después del hospital, también en Madrid cuando estabas todavía muy mal y no sabías cuándo podías recuperarte.
Sei tranquillo, sei...
Perfetto, in forma. Vediamo. Siamo qua per competere, non per...
Sapevo come stai? Con il tiro? Molto bene. Dai, vai. Pronto? Andiamo.
I'm really happy to be again here. For sure was a really difficult few months for me. Well, not few months, but already 6 or 7 months, suffering a lot out of injuries. But finally happy to be here, to be back on my MotoGP. And yeah, also I can say happy to say that I will continue in Aprilia for 2026.
Jorge's a guy that wears his heart on his sleeve, and you could just tell how difficult these last few months had been for him on a personal level. It was a highly charged, very emotional press conference.
You are never prepared to being close to life. I mean, you always, in life, you always have different situations, but sometimes there are situations that you don't expect them, and then they arrive, and it's really tough to accept sometimes, and Qatar was one of them. I was really in a really bad situation. I think only my dad and my girlfriend are, sorry. Only my dad and my girlfriend are really knowing what was going through my mind and through my body. And, for me to be here today, it demonstrates me the courage I have, and it gives me more motivation.
Martin are back in action and committed to the cause.
All of those painful, quite literally, hours, days and weeks have all been for this feeling of getting yourself back on a MotoGP grid. Zarco and Martin. Martin making a move in the back of the picture. The world champion just passed Jack Miller.
Jorge Martin take a bow. He finishes a Grand Prix for the first time since last November. Incredible job by Martin, 7th.
tutto!
He says that that was even like the feeling of finishing that race was more or less as it was winning the World Championship, because it was like being a reborn again.
I think Renault was a watershed moment in Jorge's career almost. One of the biggest races of his career.
Sono felice, anche se è difficile da credere, siamo già come una famiglia, allora. Ciao.
Now it's just all about getting the old Jorge Martin back, getting the confidence back, the belief back, getting the trust back with him and Aprilia.
Martinator is back.
On the inside goes Martin, that's lovely. This is brilliant by Martin.
The potential of the bike is huge, the potential of my riding style is huge.
Martin, then we saw this coming, and he's found a way through on Pecco Bagnaia.
¿Perseguís otra vez o qué? ¿Cómo está el tema?
This is getting better and better and better, isn't it, for the reigning world champion?
Jorge was gaining some confidence. He was adapting to the Aprilia RSGP. There'd been signs of some really strong results, and there was a lot of optimism, a lot of expectation about his potential, what he could do.
Lights out of racing here in Japan in the sprint. Oh, the triple is down. Martin and Marco Bezzecchi has gone down really hot. His fourth big injury, though, of the season.
The right collarbone was broken, as we later understood, really badly damaged. More surgery, more rehabilitation. But the one thing that we know about Jorge Martin, he is a fighter. He is a warrior.
I really want to win or fight for winning championships. And I will be here as long as my body and my head let me.
He has bounced back before in his career. Can he do it again?